Hello, everyone. It's great that you could join us this afternoon with myself and Robin. How our sessions typically work is that we will have a presentation led by Robin, who is one of our tutors at our marketing college, and she's currently running these AI webinars for us. So she essentially is the expert in all of these topics, and today we'll be covering breaking the AI hype, myths, and misconceptions. So I'm sure with all of you, where you're coming from in terms of your organizations, that you may have already been using some of this technology. With how quick everything is constantly moving, it will be definitely relevant to yourselves as people using this technology, as well as within your organizations to kind of, have Robin go through that with us. In terms of who I am, my name's Daniela, and I work part of the Oxford Professional Education Group. We have the Oxford College of Marketing, Procurement, Management, as well as the College of Technology, and we specialise in a whole array of qualifications. Towards the end, I'll share a little bit more information about that. But yeah, Robin, happy to take it away from here?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love running these sessions, especially when we get to talk about something like this today, because I'm in a very privileged position. I get to listen to so many organizations talking about their AI integration, what they're kind of using it for. And it still absolutely baffles me, the kind of misunderstanding that is around this technology. So that's kind of where this session kind of came from, the kind of things I was hearing consistently from new clients, from those I was like teaching, from those I was interacting with. So today we are going to break down that AI hype, and I am going to talk about myths and kind of misconceptions. I'm going to go through the kind of ways you can integrate AI incredibly quickly straight off this call to kind of get those quick wins with this technology. And I do want your kind of interaction with me today. I am going to ask questions like, is this a myth? What have you heard recently? So the more you kind of interact with me, the more we can kind of get out of this session together. So we are going to go through the myths and misconceptions of this kind of technology. So we cannot escape from this technology, right? And another thing that we can't escape from is the chatter about this tech online, because everybody has their own kind of version of this kind of tech integration reality. Everybody is using it at different speeds. Everyone is understanding regulation differently. Everyone is dealing with different levels of compliance. And it is everywhere. It's in headlines. And behind this lies a huge problem. Yeah. And that is the gap between AI hype or AI washing and AI reality. And that gap is actually widening. And some people worry AI will take every job. Others imagine instant plug and play magic that kind of transforms their business overnight. But the truth, actually, neither extreme is actually right at this point. Yeah. And even though this tech has extraordinary potential, it only works, it only does what we expect it to do if we have clear expectations, smart strategy, the right kind of understanding, and the know-how to do all of the above, right? So we're going to separate fact from fiction, and I'm going to talk you through what this technology actually can do, what defines AI, and go through all of those kind of myths and misconceptions about this technology. But I have a question to start with for all of you wonderful people that are spending today with me. What is the wildest AI claim that you've heard this year? You can type it in the kind of chat. What is the strangest thing that somebody has told you AI can do or not do? Because today on LinkedIn, I saw a sponsored post that was going, use AI to generate 10K months while you're on the beach. Okay, clickbait, of course. But is there actually reality to do that? I had another claim on LinkedIn, literally 10 minutes before this kind of session that we were going through today, that AI appreciates it when you say please and thank you. Do we agree with that? these wild claims, these over kind of exaggeration when it comes to this technology is really causing a problem. So I'm going to go through some headlines with you now that have kind of been out and about AI, and I'm going to talk through the impact of these and kind of why this over exaggeration, this language that we're using when it comes to AI technology, due to uncertainty, misknowledge or misinformation, are causing us problems, right? As brands, as individuals, as businesses, and we need to kind of peel back this complexity that doesn't actually have to be there when it comes to this technology. Yeah, been recommended to not use please and thank yous. Yeah, crypto traders, there's so much going on when it comes to AI, right? So the problem that we see with these intense attention-grabbing headlines about AI is that they are often created and they distort expectations. So this is when we start to get that problem that our less technological minded members in our team believe that AI is a magic robot that can make you tea and toast, whereas actually the rest of the team actually understand that there's expectations and implementation issues. And these distorted expectations, both overly optimistic and, on the other hand, overly fearful, they create a few key issues. So there's a hype versus reality gap when it comes to AI use in any kind of situation at the moment. So headlines promise instant revolutions or doom case scenarios, but the real story is so much more nuanced, right? And most AI adoption requires time, data, thoughtful integration. We don't just switch it on and watch the magic happen. And alongside that, we're seeing more and more intense kind of fear-mongering when it comes to this technology. So claims that AI will take every job, it sparks panic, right? Who has had a conversation in this kind of who's here today about if AI is going to impact their job or not? Have you seen on LinkedIn copywriters, graphic designers worrying about this? Yeah, Marie. And even though most roles are likely to be reshaped in some kind of way, there is not really the opportunity to completely replace. And we'll talk about that because we'll talk about what this technology can actually do compared to what people believe it can do. And this fear kind of can stop professionals from experimenting with AI in useful ways. We can become very adverse to actually trying out this technology, whereas I am a MarTech professional. That's what I live in that world. And I have seen AI do glorious things, but it is supported by glorious people, by experience and expertise that this technology doesn't have. So that is where we need to start stripping back this fear mongering that's actually happening within this glorious tech, right? We also see an oversimplification, and this happens within an organization, outside an organization, within the news about this technology. So clicky headlines rarely explain the limits of AI, like bias, cost, data challenges, how to use it, integration. So that leaves leaders who are less technically minded and teams that kind of are trying to use this pretty unprepared for the real work needed to make AI successful. What do you think this story was about from the Daily Star? Attack of the Psycho Chatbot. What do you think that story was actually about? Anyone hazard a guess? Anyone seen it?
I think I read on this. Is this, well, there's a few stories going around, but is this where a few people are getting AI psychosis from having like very close, oversharing with their AI?
No, so this was just about how chatbot can talk back to you, how ChatGPT can talk back to you. Whereas that, what you were talking about, would potentially like deserve this kind of headline. But this was just about how ChatGPT can talk back, and that's what made it psychotic, because it could talk back to you. And as we see this kind of intensity ramp up in the rhetoric we have, we're distracting ourselves from actually using this technology. So when the spotlight about any sort of kind of new thing is on extreme scenarios, it overshadows the smaller, practical, high impact use cases, like automating reports. I worked with a wonderful organization in the first quarter of this year to automate reporting within their dashboards for marketing technology. Each week, it saved over 80 hours between different team members. How glorious is that? That is a true use case of this technology. But we don't talk about that. We talk about psychotic robots and AI will let you sit on the beach while it does all the work for you. But actually, this technology has so much breadth in the mundane. And we're overemphasizing these kind of doomsday and massive kind of potential impact of this technology. So how are we kind of stopping ourselves using it for the mundane? Because we are impacted by this kind of extreme kind of rhetoric. Yeah, deeply affected is SEO when websites are relying on organic search. But I think there's also nuance in that. There's new kind of SEO things coming out like GEO. Every sector does change with every technological influence. So I think it's natural. It's just been so overly highlighted and exaggerated with this kind of AI technology. And that is because there's misinformation, misunderstanding, and a speed of this tech that we've not really seen before. It also massively erodes trust. How many people in this webinar today have had warnings from work to say that they're stopping AI use or you're not allowed to use X, Y, and Z? Have you all of a sudden been able to use it and then not able to use it? And that is because organizations have failed to kind of put that kind of regulation and compliance in the first place. And also, big promises were made. So when these big promises don't materialize, teams grow skeptical, we dismiss AI. It makes us harder, like within an organization, to actually move forward thoughtfully. Yeah, so as you can see, there's some terrible terminology on that slide, like killer computers, AI could wipe out humanity, attack of the psycho chatbot. And that is kind of diminishing all of the glorious, mundane stuff that this technology can actually take over. And so the problem isn't just noise. Yeah, it's not just that we're all talking about it and we're all having different experiences. It's that these kind of headlines, these terminology that is out there regarding this technology is paralytic. It can paralyze decision makers, mislead teams, and slow down meaningful adoption. And that is what we're seeing at the moment. We had access, we all had a go in our own kind of way, but now organizations are backpedaling so quickly and are so fearful that actually we're missing out on so many opportunities that this technology can truly make a difference within. Does anyone agree with me? Does anyone not agree with me? Please challenge me in the chat. And what I am seeing from a marketing point of view is that we're not using AI in the best places. AI can truly change how we do things like segmentation, hyper-personalization, segmentation, but we're trying to make it change the world. And it's not there yet, right? It's not there yet. It takes as much kind of understanding as traditional marketing technology implementation or project management if you're looking at leadership from a leadership perspective. So there's so many myths that are swimming around about AI. Yeah. And I want to talk about three main myths. So I did a data scrape probably a week ago now, looking at the most misconceived beliefs about AI. And I'm going to tell you why they are a myth. I'm going to segment it. I'm going to put it in traditional terms, technological terms, as to why that's not going to happen. Yeah. So let's have a look. Do you think this is a myth? Will AI replace our jobs? You can give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, a yes or a no in the chat. This is one of the most, we got a middle ground here from Daniela. This is one of the most spoken about kind of keyword connection to AI. Yeah. No? I like that, Elena. That's the kind of, I think some jobs, yeah. Yeah. So it is, could do, will certainly change many. Yeah. Jobs through, yeah. There's a lot of kind of interesting things being said here. But that sentence, as it stands, is a myth. And I'm going to explain to you why. So this fear shows up in headlines almost daily. Yeah. But it's built on a misunderstanding. AI is not a single all-powerful entity. Yeah. It's a set of systems trained to perform specific tasks, usually with the help of large amounts of data. So the reality is that AI is more likely to augment human work than fully replace it. Most AI tools excel at repetitive, rule-based or data-heavy tasks, sorting information, generating drafts, flagging risks, or automating routine workflows. And who actually in this chat, who actually wants to do that work? Yeah. What it is really good at is it brings creativity. Yeah. And it gives us space for creativity because AI itself can't do that, and it can't bring judgment, it can't bring empathy, and it can't bring context. And that's what we bring to the table. So why aren't we adopting this wonderful piece of tech to do all of the mundane, the boring, the repetitive, so we have more space to truly make a difference in those kind of spaces that humanity will always need to support this technology. And instead of mass job loss, what we're seeing is actually job evolution. So roles are shifting as AI takes on the tedious parts of work, freeing people to focus on higher value activities like strategy, innovation, and human connection. So this is where the gap in understanding is. So AI is often described in dramatic, truly dramatic. It's the most kind of intense descriptions of software that I've ever researched or seen. And it's because we talk about it in one size fits all terms. Yeah. People assume it can think, feel, or operate independently. In reality, it knows things. I'm not going to take that away from this technology. It knows things, but it doesn't know things in the way we do, because it can't do context or empathy. It generates outputs based on patterns in data. Cool. That's great. Great when I'm searching through 40 documents trying to find a specific word. Wonderful. Do that in 2 minutes for me. But when I'm trying to understand the context, the relevance, and the weight of that word in that kind of documentation, that it cannot do. Yeah. And without this awareness, without this understanding that this system cannot do that, it's easy to imagine AI as a replacement rather than what it actually is. It's a powerful tool. Yeah, it's a tool that needs human guidance to be effective, ethical, and valuable. Can't replace you in that realm. Yeah. So the more we understand AI's true strengths, the guardrails, the edges of this technology and its limitations, the less we will fear it as a rival, and the more we can use it as a collaborator, because that is the key. That is the true key of this technology. Is anyone here that is worried or has been worried until I just went through that, that AI will take your job or change, really remove you out of your role? It's okay. You can say yes or no to that. But realistically, because AI cannot do the things that humans do, it cannot replace a human. Yeah. It doesn't have empathy, context, or those kind of judgment things that we have, which is why I always say it is a very smug parrot, but it will not replace experience or expertise. Yeah. The only way it knows the world is by the data it is trained on, or what we tell it and ask it. Humans, we have such a wealth of kind of other things. AI doesn't get that feeling in like your chest when you're anxious. It doesn't get that kind of feeling in your stomach where you feel something is right or wrong, like, because we have all of these other ways that we take in information. AI cannot replace that. So it's a myth, yeah. So the next myth is quite an interesting one. Because I think this is the most difficult for people to kind of understand. So do you believe that AI is always objective and unbiased? Do you believe that that is a myth? Whoa, Danielle was like, bang! She's like, no. No. Yeah, Amy, no. Elena, no. Okay. Kirsty, no. I will say, before I go into why it's a myth in its current state, the technology is not inherently biased. Yeah. So the technology itself is not inherently biased. There is, though, because we have to give the technology something to learn from, that is where the problem sits. Because our data, the data we have collected, generated in all of these wonderful spaces, that is biased. It is naturally biased due to how we collected data and who we collected data from. Yeah. And there is this common assumption that because AI is powered by algorithms and data, it must be neutral. No, the technology itself is neutral. The data it learns from is not. So we often assume that AI has this higher level of like preservity. It is free from human flaws or prejudice. AI is not a blank slate, and it doesn't process in a purely logical way because of the information it is trained on. So AI is only as unbiased as the data and the design behind it. Most AI systems are trained on massive amounts of human-generated data, text, images, records, and conversions. And human data carries human bias. So if the training data, and all training data does, by the way, contains stereotypes, gaps, historical inequalities, AI can inherit those patterns. Worse, because AI scales quickly, so it compounds its knowledge. The more we ask it, the more it does the wrong thing and we don't tell it no. That compounding impact, it unintentionally amplifies that bias. So that can show up in loads of tools that we use that are AI powered, such as hiring tools that unfairly rank candidates, medical systems that miss certain groups or aspects and don't account for things like if you're female or male within kind of systems, and also recommendation engines that reinforce narrow, potentially racist, culturally incorrect kind of worldviews. And this happens because data can be skewed towards one demographic or perspective. Very sadly, still, most of the data that is even new on the internet, over, I think it was 74%, is still written by white men. So we have some work to do, guys. We have to put our thoughts out there more. And this is still an imbalance in the information we are teaching AI, right? And that is the only way it understands the world. There can also be a design bias. So the choices that developers make. So what data to use, what outcomes to optimize for, how are we teaching it reinforcement learning? That shapes the system. We also have feedback loops. So AI outputs can influence future data. So every time we create an output, we create new data. And if a biased hiring system keeps filtering out certain applicants, the model will continue to learn that. It doesn't know that is incorrect. It doesn't know that is wrong. Yeah. So this is something somebody once said to me when kind of ChatGPT once kind of really started to be accessible. And AI is not automatically fair or objective. It's a mirror. It mirrors us. And the information that we have access to, the information that some people create is not correct, right? And we know that because we have experience and expertise, we understand context. And that's why actually bias management isn't optional. It's central to responsible AI use. So as developers, leaders, everyday users, we need to be aware of where bias can creep in. So there is this myth of neutral AI. We put in an AI system and it'll remove all of this prejudice and things like that. And because of that, we're actually less likely to question our outcomes. Yeah, we'll put safeguards in place. When this kind of system first came in, did you just trust what ChatGPT said? Did you ever question it? Did you ever go, actually, I should check that? Because at one point, ChatGPT was going, like, I was asking it, what is 2 + 2? And it was going 7. And it was adamant it was 7. And it could explain to me why it was 7. But I knew it was wrong. It didn't know it was wrong. Yeah. It could be doing that in every output that you give. So knowing that bias and incorrection is potentially, we need to just use it better. We need to be more wise and have more critical thinking. So that is a myth that we've busted there, that AI is always objective and unbiased, because it truly isn't. It really isn't. And if you have a look at rogue AI, you can go away and search that, or hallucinations within AI, you will question more and more the outputs that come out of these systems. So this is another myth. Yeah. So AI will become conscious and think like humans. Do you think it's a myth, or do you think this is the future? Oh, Danielle is in between there. What about anybody else? Does anyone believe this is going to happen? Essentially, this is one of the biggest myths out there, and I'm going to bust it. So popular culture feeds this belief. Yeah, I am obsessed with Wall-E, right? It's this cute robotic character that can interact with Eva and has a purpose for existing. Yeah. But in reality, because of the way AI works at the moment and the systems it uses, it's only based on the data it learns. So it's nothing new. Yeah. It's nothing, it can learn from before and then generate out of that. But sentient chatbots and even the human-like fluency of tools like ChatGPT make it so easy to assume AI is on the verge of developing self-awareness. And many people confuse an AI's ability to generate natural sounding language or mimic reasoning with actual thought or emotion. So AI has no consciousness, emotions, or genuine understanding. What you will see out there is information where, for example, the two Google chatbots spoke to each other in their own language, right? And that could give you an air of, oh, like they are like communicating past us and we have no control. The reason that happened is the two models were given a purpose of communication. So when it faced something like it could communicate in a different way to that was more optimum and could get the communication happening faster, the AI will adapt to that because its sole purpose was to communicate in the most effective way. So it will adapt, and that may transcend human language, but it could still talk to each other. Yeah. So that's what you'll see. You'll see information about things like that. And a lot of things when we talk about like rogue AI and AI systems lying to the user, it's because its purpose in life, it's trying to get there as quick as possible. Yeah. So to us, it's like, oh, it's deceiving us, when actually it's getting us to think in a certain way so it can do something better. Yeah. So it's just patterns, it's purpose and patterns. Yeah. And AI systems process inputs and generates based on patterns in the data. They don't know what they're saying or feel the way humans do. So, for example, a language model predicts the next word in a sentence, but it doesn't understand the meaning. It predicts the next word due to the data it has access to. A vision model recognizes patterns in pixels. It doesn't see the actual thing it creates as a beautiful art image. Yeah, it's working out what the next pixel needs to be based on the data it has, because it has been taught what the pixels in a tree look like. Yeah. An AI may respond empathically, but often that's design, not genuine emotion. And that empathy is often misplaced. So why does this confusion happen? Why are we expecting, like my husband always says, please and thank you to ChatGPT, because he's like, well, if they do ever take over, I would like them to remember that I was nice. And I'm like, well, you're giving the AI a level of anthropomorphism. We're naturally projecting human qualities onto things that act or sound human. We do this with our dogs. We do this with like a burnt piece of toast that looks like, I don't know, SpongeBob SquarePants in the image. We do this to so many things that it's natural that we're doing it with AI, but it's giving us this false fear. Yeah, it's creating a problem that actually isn't there. There's also something called the fluency illusion. So when AI generates coherent, context-aware responsive, it feels like understanding. We feel seen and heard and understood by ChatGPT, who's explaining to me what I can cook with the 4 things I have left in my fridge. Yes, it feels like that, but you need to recognize it is designed that way. It is designed to talk to you in a way that you talk to it. Yeah, it's not making you feel better that you've only got 4 things in your fridge and you've only got 2 options to make with that. It's just because we have this fluency kind of illusion, because it can respond how we talk back. We get sucked in to that kind of thing. And again, the hype and the headlines, stories of AI gaining consciousness play into our fears and our fantasies, but oversimplifies the underlying technology again. So AI is powerful, but it's not alive. Treating it as a conscious can create unrealistic expectations or misplaced trust. The real opportunity is using AI as a tool to augment human intelligence, automate routine work, and expand what we can achieve without assuming it thinks or feels like us. Yeah. Understanding this difference kind of helps our teams approach AI with curiosity and caution rather than fear or fantasy. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to really actually understand what this technology can do. Simon Hughes, it will eventually, no one knows when though. There's so many other things that need to happen before we get to that point, right? We are nowhere near the computing power for that. We are nowhere near the kind of complexity that holds. So we're talking about AI technology we have access to at the moment and what's projected for the next kind of hour time. And yeah, I think it's really interesting that these myths are so prevalent. Like I say, these held so much space in feeds over the last week that I was surprised that this is still the same conversations that we were having over a year ago now. So what I want to go through now is these are things that I have overheard in meetings. So when I was thinking about what content to put into here, I wanted to base this in true kind of things that have happened. Yeah, I didn't want to just talk about the reasons and the kind of outside of kind of reality. Everything that I have written on the next slides has been said by either a C-suite member or a founder or a CEO. Yeah. And I want you to react to these and tell me if it's good that they said that, if it's bad, or you're shocked. Yeah. So this is the first one. So this was from a CEO and founder of a cybersecurity company. I uploaded everything into about the current project into ChatGPT. This was the summary it made. Do you think that's good AI use? Do you think that's teaching correct AI use within an organization? This shows me that even people with a technological background are still not thinking. They may understand the technology, but they don't understand the guardrails of ChatGPT. So I dug further. I was like, hi. Did you have a paid version of ChatGPT? Did you put it into a project so you could contain your information? No, just a free one. I just logged in and I don't pay. That information about their project, which was a beautiful new upgrade of their platform, was then in an open source. It was then being used to train the model. And if somebody even thought to be like, what is company X doing about this? They could access that information. So we quickly had to try and remove that from the internet. Yeah, so understand the technology, get the paid version if you need the paid version, understand how to put guardrails around your content. So I uploaded everything about the current project into ChatGPT. This was the summary. Not good. Yeah, especially as I dug further into that. This is from a med tech company. Wonderful woman on the C-suite. AI is just a fad. We don't need to adapt to this. This was from a meeting 3 weeks ago. Do you think that's a good kind of understanding of this technology? Oh, yeah, Daniela. Not great, right? And these are companies that are paving the way in areas of technology. AI is just a fad. I don't need to worry about that. Okay. So this is when I was talking to a marketing, like I work with other marketing teams to support them in areas where they may be missing a bit of marketing kind of expertise. In our training about AI, we were suggested to say please and thank you. So what does that show you? This is a huge organization. Yeah. It shows me that they have no idea how this technology works. And there's also a level of fear, right? Yeah, Karina, like there's a level of fear. If you're feeling like you have to put in writing to say please and thank you to a piece of technology, there is some misunderstanding somewhere or some preconceived idea, because a simple Google search would tell you that that is not relevant. Yeah. So that was like, yeah, prompts with please. Why? You're wasting a tokenization. Like if you create a massive thing, like a massive input for ChatGPT, and you're wasting things on please and thank you, it's not reading everything else. The system only reads a percentage of the words based on its tokenization allowance. Yeah. So no, don't bother. it doesn't mind. You don't have to be nice. You don't have to be mean. You just have to ask it what you want, right? We are banning the use of generative AI tools in our organization until we know how to use them properly. How terrifying is that? Oh, Daniela's like, yeah, I could get on board, baby. What it shows me is if your organization or you have access to either Google or Microsoft, you're already using generative AI. Yeah, because you're asking, it gives you summaries of your emails. That's generative AI. Yeah, it's giving you, you can ask it to create a quick picture or a version of some sort of kind of diagram that you want. That's generative AI. How can you strip away this technology that is so embedded into the tools that we already use? So Claire says, I think some software orgs feel like this is where they need to secure the use of AI and they lack understanding, so are too worried and grind it to a halt. Crazy. Absolutely, Claire. Like it's misunderstanding. And actually, I think this person that said this, they probably don't recognize how much AI is already in the tools they use, and also within what generative AI actually is. So yeah, it's terrifying to me. And I was like, my jaw was like, bang. I was like, okay, we've just implementing this platform into your MarTech stack. It'd be hard not to use generative AI now. We'll consider using it when our clients start pushing for it. Your clients are already using it. My nan uses ChatGPT. Yeah, she asks it all. Yeah, exactly, Amy. Absolutely too late. So this is incredibly worrying for me, but look at this one. I don't like it. So this was in a very intense discussion deciding between the functions of 2 AI platforms to improve email segmentation within a organization. I don't like it. And that was the reason why they were like, we don't need to do this. We don't need to choose between. Yes, we do. We're kind of at the end of the project now. We're just choosing the platform. I don't like it. Doesn't really sit well within this. You can have your personal views, but realistically, for an organization, for individuals, we've already gone past this. Yeah, we are too late. Like Amy says, we're too late for that kind of feeling. Just put it in ChatGPT. How many times has anyone here heard that? I think if I had a bingo card, I would be able to get full house bingo if I just put that on by the end of the day. Yeah, a lot. And again, it's because people don't understand people don't understand this technology. They really don't. Yeah. We have to control it. Now, this is an interesting one. I've heard this probably 6 or 7 times in the past month. We have to control it. What does that say to you? That kind of terminology. We have to control it. It says to me that there's already a loss of control. Yeah, so there's already this feeling of misunderstanding. They don't know how it's used in the organization. They don't know who accesses it. They don't know what data goes in. That's a huge problem when it comes to that kind of thing. So how does this mentality shape things? What does this do? How does this make an individual feel, an organization feel? From my point of view, it slows things down. It causes friction where there doesn't need to be friction, and a fear when it comes to this glorious technology, because people don't know what AI is, and this is what defines AI. Yeah. So if you're kind of trying to explain to somebody what AI is, so we stop using this kind of one size fits all definition, is that AI learns from data. So it can spot trends in customer data. It can predict equipment failures in factories. It can detect early signs of disease in medical scans. The more data it consumes, the more accurate and useful it becomes. Yeah, so people forget. People forget that these systems only understand the world in the data that it is kind of fed. That's their only view. Claire says, it makes me frustrated where senior leaders think something can be chucked into ChatGPT. It undermines a lot of knowledge garnered over several years in marketing. Say it louder for those in the back, Claire. It is not a catch-all, and it is not good at every single task. Say it even louder. You're preaching to the choir here. And that is my problem. There is this misunderstanding. Oh, it's like, oh, well, ChatGPT can do it quicker. Yeah, it can, but it can do it rubbish. Yeah, it doesn't replace experience or expertise. So AI has to learn from data. So when we're worried about it being sentient, we're worried about it doing X, Y, and Z, it's only regurgitating the data it has consumed or it is connected to. So that defines part of AI. The next is pattern recognition. So AI doesn't just process raw numbers, it actually finds meaning in them. So it recognizes faces, flags suspicious activity, identifies which products a shopper is most likely to buy next. And this ability to see connections, we as humans can't do this quick. Great, wonderful. Another definition of AI. It's also great at automation. Now, AI and automation get thrown around together. They're actually very different. So AI in automation is where it can make decisions itself to improve something. So it takes the data it's given and then it makes a better decision to move something forward. Traditional automation is just a yes or no. We've had to put that in the workflow. So this is where it can handle things much quicker than us, draft emails, reports, and it automates the grunt work. That's where AI thrives. Get it to do the stuff you don't want it to do. You don't want to do, yeah? The stuff that in your organization takes you time, energy, money, get AI to do that for you. AI also has a level of adaptability. That's what defines it as artificial intelligence. So it doesn't need manual updates. It can evolve through feedback. So the more we get it to do something, the more we feed it similar information, We get great things like recommendation engines that get better as you use them, language models that improve as they're fine-tuned for specific industries. You'll also see that from a personal point of view. If you use ChatGPT, it'll start using words that you use. So then it feels like a friend. Yeah. And that's why we stop questioning it, because we're like, oh no, ChatGPT's like my mate. It knows what I want. Still use your critical thinking there. And then it also has this human-like interaction. So this is what defines AI. Now, there is a whole bunch of stuff that AI cannot do. AI doesn't understand context. It predicts patterns in behavior, doesn't grasp meaning, nuance, or intent. It cannot do original creativity. And it really frustrates me that people don't recognize this. And AI can remix, it can combine, it can generate content based on existing patterns or data. It doesn't create from lived experience, intuition, or imagination. Its creativity is bounded. It has nothing to go past apart from its training data. Yeah. So when you're asking Midjourney to create a beautiful I don't know, tree that's like 20,000 colors and has a unicorn underneath it, that's because it knows what a tree is, it knows what the colors are, it knows what a unicorn looks like, and it's just going, huh. It's just putting that together for you in an output. Yeah, it's not creating in the way that we expect, like we create. Yeah. And this emotional intelligence. So AI can mimic empathy. So chatbot, if you say this is wrong, your chatbot might say to you, I'm sorry to hear that, I will do better. What a great question. What a great thing that you've created. Oh, wonderful. But actually, realistically, you're not actually having an emotional connection to me. It's just following patterns. It doesn't feel emotions or connect on a human level. Genuine compassion, intuition, and ethical judgment, uniquely human. Yeah. It doesn't do independent decision making. And you're like, Robin, of course it does. I'm like, no, AI can't set goals for itself. It has a primary goal. Yeah. It was built to fulfill a primary goal. It acts only within those parameters that humans have designed and approved. It won't decide what should be done. It just executes based on inputs, rules, or learned patterns. Yeah. AI can't learn in a vacuum. Yeah. So without large, high quality data sets, its performance is truly limited, unlike humans. It can't rely on intuition or sparse information to figure things out. So if you're standing in a room and you know nothing, as a human, you could probably guess which path would be better for you. You probably wouldn't go down the dark one, right? You probably would maybe go down the one that you could hear something in because you knew there'd be something there. AI, if it hadn't have been fed any information and you asked it what door to go through, it would have no idea. Yeah, it would probably lie to you. It would say door 3, and then that'd be the dark one, and then you'd end up on a Netflix documentary. But like, this is where the problem is. Yeah, we are expecting it to know more than us, and it really doesn't. And then we have ethical or moral kind of reasoning. So AI can't weigh right and wrong or understand the human consequences of decisions. So if it tells you to do something and you do it, that is on you. Yeah, that is your decision to follow through with that advice. It follows programmed objectives. Yeah, so to fulfill your prompt, it doesn't follow moral frameworks. And that is also a problem when it comes to this technology. So I love AI. It may sound like I don't, but it's powerful at doing the good things that it can do. What frustrates me is people expect it to run the world, and it can't. And it is powerful at processing, predicting, and generating, but it doesn't think, feel, or decide like humans do. And that's why human judgment, creativity, and ethics remain irreplaceable. Yeah. So has anybody seen any of these recently? So this is within, I think I would say 8 months, these are. So AI might look impressive on the surface. Writing articles, it can spot patterns, it can answer questions, but it's not flawless. And as you can see from this slide, these are just a few things that have happened recently with AI-powered systems, platforms, or integration. So we have a problem with data. So AI learns from data, and if that data is incomplete, biased, or outdated, the AI will make a poor decision. Rubbish in, rubbish out, all the time. And that was the issue with Air Canada. They fed their chatbot the wrong information, so then the wrong information was given out. We have pattern over reliance. AI doesn't understand context, it spots patterns. If the situation is unusual or outside its training, it can give results that sound confident but are completely wrong. That was McDonald's problem. The AI system couldn't understand when somebody didn't want gherkins. So then it was like freaking out and ordering just 2 sides of gherkins to every burger, just in case they wanted gherkins. Yeah. So it's like, oh, couldn't understand. So then we have no common sense. That's me. AI doesn't have lived experience or intuition. So it sometimes gives observed answers. So that was where ChatGPT didn't understand a terminology, so it hallucinated court cases that a lawyer then used. Bad on the lawyer, but also bad on not understanding the system. It also doesn't kind of have understanding of the real world. So XAI's Grok was giving incredibly non-culturally correct kind of answers in the world. And then overconfidence. AI often presents wrong answers with confidence. So this is where the NYC AI chatbot encouraged business owners to break the law. Very, very convincingly. So as you can see, there's issues with the software. We have to understand where this technology actually can make a difference and where it truly won't. Yeah. And it is powerful. Even though it has its faults, it is powerful. So I'm going to give you now a way to spot high impact, lower risk kind of AI use cases. And it's super, super quick. But if you go through and actually start to do this within your own work, your organization, within your team, you will start to see the benefit of AI, not be fearful of the extreme cases, and actually understand what this technology can actually do. So I want you to start with pain points, not tech. If you see a beautiful, shiny AI platform that you're like, this is going to change my life, don't buy it. Yeah. Instead, I want you to go through and actually look for the repetitive, manual, time-consuming tasks that frustrate you or your employees or slow things down. Automate meeting notes, expense categorization, something incredibly basic. Yeah. And the next one is I want you to go where the data is clean and available. AI needs good data. Begin with processes where you already have structured, reliable data, your CRM, help desk tickets, your financial kind of transactions if you're an e-commerce store, and use AI to analyze customer service chats for common issues. Great use of AI. Yeah. I want you to prioritize efficiency over transformation. So high-risk projects try to reinvent things. We don't want that. Look at low-risk projects which make existing processes smoother or faster. Much better. And then I want you to avoid starting with life or death. I want you to start with things that have much less of a responsibility. So try not to include AI in regulatory or reputation heavy areas initially. Test AI in supportive roles where errors won't cause major harm. I want you to look for your clear ROI and your quick wins. So pick use cases that save time, reduce costs, boost productivity in measurable ways. Early wins build trust and momentum every single time. Yeah. And involve everybody right from the beginning. A use case is only low risk if Margaret within your team, who's 68, can understand how to actually use it. Yeah. Test with your teams, gather feedback, adjust before you actually whack it in to your organization. Pilot an AI system with one sales team before rolling it out. Yeah. Find these kind of spaces. And the formula is high impact, low risk AI is a clear business problem plus good data plus low stakes application plus quick results. That is your kind of thing. Yeah. And I want you to build it in. I don't want you to build it out. So spot your everyday tasks. Plug AI into your existing tools. I bet every single tool that you have in your MarTech, your sales tech, every kind of piece of technology has AI now. Go and use it. Go and see what it can now do. Build habits, don't build overhauls. Yeah. And you don't need a massive digital transformation to use AI. So by starting with simple tasks, tapping into tools you already have, and building daily habits, AI can quietly become part of your workflow. And that is where I am seeing the most power within this technology. I truly am. And the three things I want you to take away is that myths create fear and false hope. So when you're seeing something extreme, so AI will steal all jobs, AI will solve everything, just know that this is a distortion of reality. Yeah. And don't let that stop you from using AI actually effectively in that mundane, in the stuff it really loves to do. AI is powerful. It is not perfect. It's not conscious, unbiased, or magical. So recognize that. And human judgment remains essential. So AI works best as a partner, not a replacement. So when we bust these myths, when we talk about them, when we actually say, I'm actually worried about this and kind of that, it actually allows us to clear the fog of that kind of misconception. And then we can actually start implementing high value uses of AI rather than chasing headlines realistically. So yeah, that's the end of my kind of nattering today. But if you want to join the AI Exchange Slack channel where we talk about various different things, and I pop in things about regulation updates, compliance updates, they all go in there. You can use that kind of QR code there. But thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you, Robin. I've popped a few links in the chat. So what you can find is the YouTube channel if you're someone who wants to review the content, revise it, have a look through old previous topics that we've covered as well in the past, as well as a link to our AI practitioner course that we offer here as part of the Oxford College of Technology. So if you're looking for something with coverage on multitude of topics, there's cybersecurity, banking, healthcare, and education currently available, as well as the AI in marketing, which is accredited by the CIM. So that's also available there for you as well. Get something on your CV or your LinkedIn. That's definitely a way to do it by completing one of these qualifications or short courses. It's definitely something which employers are currently engaging with, and we've seen a massive uptick in people enrolling all of these qualifications to get upskilled as quickly as possible, so that they can turn into Robin herself. But yeah, otherwise feel free to engage via Robin's link there as well. And in the next 2 weeks, do you know what content we'll be covering next at all, Robin?
Yeah, so it's about generative AI and how to generate good stuff within AI systems. But we're also adding in an extra section about Gemini Nano Banana, and honestly, that is actually the name of the tech. And that is looking at how that piece of technology is overtaking things like Adobe Firefly and why it is so different compared to other image generators. So we're just adding that in as an extra one as well.
Okay, that's great. But yep, it'll be great to see in the next 2 weeks or so. Is the extra one between those 2 weeks, or is that at a later date? Do you know?
Yeah, so it's we've got the next one and then it's in between that one and the following one.
Okay,
But it's
perfect.
it's updated on the website, I think.
Okay, perfect. But yeah, feel free to engage with us there. If you haven't found us on LinkedIn at all as well, you're more than welcome to post and see, share what you found useful about the session. There are badges as well available for the AI Exchange webinar series, so you're more than welcome to advertise that there. Thank you, Tyrone. It's been great having you on, and Christy, as well as Karina. And yeah, look forward to see you guys all on the next one.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you again.